Be sure to check out my Veve and Omi Investors group in the description down below. Together we build generational wealth and go over everything you need to be profitable in the Veve markets. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we are back with another Veve and Ecomi video. And here we are, here with part 2. We're picking up on the don't waste your money on Veve NFT and comic books, the little breakdown that we're doing here on the channel, man. Yeah, we're picking up right where we left off. I want to go over the rest of what he said throughout the video. And I'm just doing this just to educate people on what's actually happening. I think that it's very important to understand the truth behind a lot of the assumptions out there. And a lot of people have these same assumptions. A lot of people believe some of this stuff. So it is very, very important that people actually understand the truth behind what's happening as opposed to the theories and stuff that's just not true. So yeah, anyway, let's jump back into it. Let's see what else is going on. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn notifications, all that good stuff. And yeah, let's get it.
All the time. All that money. And what happens is they had a price guide and the Beanie Babies started rising in price. But then what happened was it got so high that people were like, I'm really going to spend $10,000 on a Beanie Baby? I don't think so. And then what happens is someone's like, well, I need to sell this. So they sell a little cheap. Then the prices start going down and down and down. And then people all abandon ship because prices are going down. Get out, because the people that are in this business are only in it to make money. That's all they care about.
And that is true. Like, this is very true to a certain extent. The problem with his theory, though, is that all the people are not just in it to make money. These are collectibles, collector's items. This is stuff that's super valuable already in the real life. So, I mean, per his logic, every physical comic book in the world, this would be the exact same case with that too, right? Like, physical comic books would get so high in price that no one wants to buy, and people like the same thing would just happen with physical comic books because there's no difference. We've already established that this is all about ownership, and you, the same way you own a Marvel comic book, a physical version, I own a Marvel comic book, a digital version. No version is superior. They're the same thing. One is just digital, one is physical. The difference between yours and mine, though, is that mine is the first to ever exist in human history, and NFTs, the proof and being able to prove that true ownership, and this being one of the first ones to ever be provable, there's value in that. There's a lot more value in that. There's arguably more value in that than even the physicals. Because the physicals, while you may have one of the physicals, is it the first physical to ever exist in human history? Or can you even track that? Can that even be tracked with comic books? Like, you know, like,
the actual people that are in it for Beanie Babies are like, yeah, I'll spend $5 on it. That's it. Everyone else was just in it for the money. So once it starts going down, everyone abandons ship, massive supply, no one gives a crap. Now what are Beanie Babies now? Worthless, all worthless. You can probably sell them for a couple bucks.
Yeah, but his argument is using one company that tried one thing one time. And the argument against Veve would have to be all the biggest licenses and companies in the world. All the biggest companies in human history would have to all be seen as worthless by all their different audiences and all their different fan bases. In order for what he says to happen, like literally DC fans would have to stop valuing DC things. Marvel fans would have to stop valuing Marvel. Disney would have to stop valuing Disney. Like, you hear the likeliness of all of this happen where everyone in the world just says, you know what? There's no value in Disney. There's no value in Marvel. There's no value in DC. Like, come on now. Like, where's the value at then if nothing's valuable? Like, just because something has gone digital and is provable now without a shadow of a doubt, you know, it doesn't mean that it's worthless. It means that it's so new that you haven't taken the time to understand it.
And that's basically what they're worth. Because unlike NFTs, when you buy something physical, it takes actual money and labor and material costs to make that thing. These NFTs cost nothing. It's literally a digital thing. All they have to do is have a digital artist create another cover.
I mean, that's like, so basically that's just like saying a web developer. You hire a web developer, his labor is not physical, right? So just because he's typing on the keyboard, like, that work means nothing. You hire an artist to make you an art cover, a musician. It's a musician, like, when they get their art covers made, they shouldn't have to pay, right? By your logic, that, like, that's not valuable, that art cover. Why are we paying artists at any point in time? Like, your thumbnail, that thumbnail better be free. or you better have made it yourself. Like, and if you make a thumbnail for somebody else, you can't charge for that, right? It's like, because it's not valuable. Like, that basically all you, your arguments just really make no sense. It really makes no sense, and you're looking from one perspective, completely ignoring the fact that just because something is digital does not mean that it's worthless. That if that was the case, everything on Netflix should be free. It should be free. Like, it takes no work to upload something that already exists in physical form and just slap it on Netflix. It exists in digital form. Just grab the DVD, right? No, it doesn't work like that. It's not that black and white like you're trying to paint it out to be.
And then they just kind of mess with the colors, and then they call this rare. And I know some of you...
Yeah, like, you know how movies came out in standard definition and they just kind of messed with the colors. Now they're HD and then they're charging more money for it. I mean, that to be fair, listen, I wouldn't care if they lowered those prices, but y'all get my point, man. Like, literally everything that moves from physical to digital goes through the exact same process that he's trying to downplay right now. Like, that's the only point here. This is a conversation about ownership, not anything that he's talking about. This is about ownership. Can you prove that you own something? Does this something that you own come from a company? Is that company a company that's valuable because it comes from them? Yes. It checks the box of a valuable collectible. It checks all the boxes. So what are we talking about?
Probably say, no, NFTs, this is it. This is the future. This is it. I'm not saying that NFTs aren't somewhere in our future. I think it's too soon. And also, I don't think this is the way it's going to happen, especially with these corporations just mass producing these things. I'm doing an experiment. You guys are comic fans out there. If you had an opportunity to, let's say I gave you a bunch of money, whatever it is, your holy grail, whatever it is, could be a Spider-Man 300, could be an Action 1, could be a Hulk 181. Let's say I gave you the money, or somehow you came into the money to buy that Grail book, whatever it is. You bought, but you couldn't sell it because then people always buy an Action 1 and stuff. So let's say it's a Spider-Man 300. You had it, somehow you got enough money to get that Grail book and you buy it. But I tell you, as soon as you buy it, that book will drop in half. So whatever, it's $1,000 book, it'll go down to 500. A $10,000 book, it'll go down to $5,000. And then I'll tell you that you probably won't be able to break even for at least 10 years. Would you still buy that book? It's your grail, the thing you want the most. A lot of people will be like, yeah, sure, I want that book. I want to hang it on my wall. I want to have it. Tell that to all these people that are buying these NFTs.
This is a terrible example, because the people who believe in NFTs and who are taking the time to understand NFTs are the people who want to capitalize off of it. Those of us looking for money and business opportunities, we're the ones who scour the internet, searching for opportunities, searching to understand new technologies, looking to understand where the world is going. People who are comic book fans, you're not looking to understand new technology. You're looking to dismiss if it's not something that you can understand very, very quickly. It's a different type of person. Like, yes, a lot of these investors who hold this stuff would sell it, like would sell it easily, like would not buy it if they were told this. A lot of people just would not do it, because a lot of people are here to make money. But just because a lot of people are here to make money does not mean that the things that they're trying to make money on is not valuable. Like, if you didn't know gold and diamonds were going to be valuable and you use that same scenario, and like would a lot of people would not, like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a prime example. A lot of people could have bought Bitcoin, but they chose not to. And then look what happened. It still is valuable because it's valuable. Like, so people just didn't know that it was going to be valuable, so they chose not to buy it. And then they missed out because then it blew up, because it's a valuable thing. It's a valuable asset. And it has always been valuable even before people could see it. So while there's a argument to be made for what you're saying, there's also the opposite argument to be made. I mean, and really, like, the opposite argument, it really makes more sense if you actually understand what NFTs are, the value proposition of them, and how they're going to impact the world and why, if you actually just take the time to learn what they mean, as opposed to just being a skeptic.
See what happens. Every single one of them will say, yeah, I'm not going to buy it. If I told them every NFT that they buy, yeah, it won't double in price, it will actually drop in half, and you won't see any return for at least 10 years, maybe. No one would buy the NFTs. Why? Because every single person is in it for investing purposes.
That is a complete lie. Every single person. So he's talked to every single person on Veve, all 3 million plus of them, right? All 3 million plus. Every single person is never in anything for all the same reasons. every single person is never in anything for all the same reasons. So when someone makes a claim like this, you should question that instantly. So he's saying out of all these people, like, question, why aren't there this many people even on OpenSea? If everyone's investors, everyone's just in it for money, why does Veve have more people than the investors on OpenSea that's making the huge amounts of money? Want to know why? Because Marvel fans, the people who actually are buying these things, it's more of them. That's why Veve is bigger than these other platforms, because there's more people who want to buy this stuff, because Veve is attracting people that's Marvel fans, Disney fans, and all the fans of these brands who are collectors. Collectors are buying this stuff. Yes, there's a mixture of collectors and people who are just in it for money, but collectors are adopting this, and more collectors will adopt it. And by the time you adopt it, everything is going to be at high prices, because during the time where you could have actually got it when it was affordable, instead of doing real research, you would decide to just make videos like this because that was what you wanted to do at your time.
Thinking that it's going to go up without actually realizing why things go up to begin with. The reason why comics go up in value is because they have decades of collectors that want them for their collection. Yes.
These are the exact same comic books. These are the exact same comic books, except for it's in NFT format. So those same decades of people who want the physical also want the digital. You just don't know you want it yet, because you don't know that the digital is respectable yet. You don't know the fact that it's authenticated, and it is the first appearance ever in the history of Marvel of something that's going to be very, very meaningful. The fact that the word NFT is attached to it is just it's a turnoff for a lot of people. People don't want to get educated on it simply because they hear the word NFT, and it's just a bad stigmatism around it.
Recently, we've had investors come in, and that's why it's spiked. But we have a massive base. If all of a sudden I sold my company for $100 million, it's not worth that much. But if I did, you know what? One of the things I would do, I would go back and I would buy and get a complete Hulk collection and a complete Turtles collection. And then I'd start buying other comics as well. Why? Because I like comics. That's what I would spend with my money. I wouldn't buy it for investment purposes. I already have money. I don't need that. There's no such thing as those types of people in NFTs.
Yes, there are. On Veve especially. Yes, there are. That's why the type of platforms you're referring to, like OpenSea, that's why there's less people on those platforms than on Veve, because they don't have millions and millions of investors just looking to flip and make money and stuff. It's not that many. That's why Veve is bigger. Veve has millions more than the competition because they're attracting a different audience. Yet you're saying everyone is only in it for the money. It makes absolutely no sense. Why is Veve so much bigger then? Why do we have whole comic book channels, real physical collectors who had comic book channels exactly like yours, who have come over into the Veve community, and now they're making Veve content, now they're investing in Veve comic books, and now they're literally looking towards the future and understanding things. The fact of the matter is, anybody who takes the time to actually understand will get it. If you don't take the time, you're not going to get it.
And another reason why comics are so expensive is because they're rare, because people read them and ruined them. Let's look at some NFTs on there so you can get a better understanding of what I'm talking about on all this. So here we got the Hero for Hire #1. As you can see, they just take the normal cover. That's the common one. Then they gray out the background. That's the uncommon one. Then they make a new cover. Some artist draws a new cover. That's the rare. Then they have the super rare, which is basically the same cover, but a little more black in it. And then they literally just cut out a panel from inside the book and make that the secret rare that you could possibly get. And as you can see here, it's $6.99. It dropped on the 8th of February, and there's, they had 30,000 copies. The funny thing is, if you look at all these ones that drop, every single one sells out. Every single one. Here's one, Black Panther, just dropped the other day. Sold out instantly. Here's Fantastic Four.
That's what happened when the first time in human history you have millions and millions of people going for comic books. I'm assuming, like maybe comic book fans have been this massive forever, but the second a drop goes out, we have access to the entire world. People all around the world, different countries and everything, are all going for comic books, all becoming comic book fans because of this Veve platform. They sell out because you have a diverse group of people from every place. Like, people don't even speak the same languages, but they all want these items because they know the value proposition of these items. So yeah, that's why things sell out. Yes, there's you have people like me who are going to make these sell out because I want to own as many as possible. Then you have people who actually love this and want to hold this stuff in their collections. That, like, it's diversity.
Annual number 3, sold out instantly. All these are sold out. Even the X-Men 170 sold out. Nothing isn't sold out. What does that tell me? It tells me this. They
do a max of like what, 40 something thousand copies, and we have 3 million people. Like, we have over 3 million people, and they do a maximum of like 30,000 editions or 48,000 editions. Like, I mean, do the math on that. If everybody's just trying to get one, it's kind of going to sell out every time, right? That's not hard math.
They release it. Maybe 1,000, 2,000 people are actually buy it. And then the company just buys the rest. So it creates demand.
What? So he has no idea that there's 3 million people on this platform then. He says like 2,000 people buy it, and then like, this is what I mean by the level of research that you're putting into the things that you're saying. This is absolutely ridiculous. Like, there are over 3 million, there's 3 million people, bro. Like, there's 3 million, maybe not all active. So let's even go with the like what, 1.8 million people. Like, let's go with the 2 million people. There's 2 million people trying to buy these comics, and you think that there's room for the company to sit here and buy up half of them, half the supply? Come on now, that's ridiculous. Do a little bit more research and due diligence before you make a video like this, because you're sounding kind of crazy right now.
And then the company just buys the rest, so it creates demand. So then people have to sell it on the secondary market. Because why? Why do they want people to sell it on the secondary market? Well, let's look at the fine print. They charge a 6% licensing fee on the secondary market. And on top of that, Veve, or Veve, whatever they call it, takes 2.5% on the secondary market. So whenever you have this and you sell it on the market, they're making 6% that goes to Marvel, and then another 2.5% goes to Veve, along with their also cut. And guess what? If you sell out all 30,000 copies at $6.99, you're looking at about $210,000 every time they drop on this. And they drop this like once a week-ish.
Are we going to talk about the tax and all the stuff that you got to pay for a comic book? Like, you're talking about basic business stuff that's just always existed. So are we going to talk about the comic book, like how much it actually costs to make a comic? Like, there was a point in time where they used to charge like a penny or two for a comic, right? Now comic books cost like some dollars. So are we going to talk about the fact that they can get the cost down low enough for it to cost cents, and you all are paying dollars to begin with, and where all those taxes and fees are going? Marvel and the comic book shops have been making their money since the beginning of time. So now that Marvel and now the new platform, like for them to sell their comic books, is making money, and that's an issue, it's like, it makes no sense. Like, most of what you're saying makes no sense.
Somewhere around there. Do you think there's 30,000 people buying this every single time, making near $250,000 just for this one product alone, on top of all their fees that they're making? No, There's not that many people are buying this. But
yes, there are. There are that many people buying this. There are that many people buying this. There are, like, if you look across the YouTube channels at all the YouTubers, we have millions of views. We have millions of views. Look at their social media. We have hundreds of, like, they're being promoted. They're being promoted. Like, Veve is being promoted on Marvel. Marvel and Disney are promoting them with like over 50 million followers. Like, this is who Veve is being promoted to. Do you think that Veve has to actually buy their own stuff? Like, this is the level of promotion that's actually going on with this business. This is not just oh, Marvel let them use the license type of thing. Marvel tweets out these drops to their audience. They're not tweeting out these drops just so their audience could not get something. They're tweeting it out so they can go for the drops.
But they're pushing it like it is. Oh, it's sold out. Gotta get it. So let's look at what the secondary market looks
like. And Veve isn't pushing anything like it's nothing. Veve has publicly said that they would prefer if everything didn't sell out like it sells out. But that can't be helped because the demand is so high. Like, the demand is so high that, like, Veve is not the ones pushing the fact that it's sold out. If something sells out, it sells out. And the fact that you look on the app and see everything is sold out, you take it as, oh, they're putting the fact that it's sold out in your face. I mean, you can't buy it. Like, what are they supposed to say? I mean, it's sold out, but we're not gonna say it's sold out. You can just click the buy button and try to buy it. Then we'll tell you later that it's not sold out. Like that is sold out. Like, what do you expect a company to do? If something sells out, it sells out.
Looks like. Here's a Fantastic Four annual number 3. This is the auction. They have a couple bids. Some of these bids look suspect. And then you also have the buy now section.
Some of these bids look suspect. What? What? This bid right here, if he's talking about this bid, this is a mint number 608, which is why it's on. And this is one of the a sub 1,000 mint, and it's only going for $20 because this comic book is not a very good comic. So let's talk about the ones that got a bunch of bids on it. How does it look suspect? No bids, don't nobody want that. No bids, don't nobody want that. Like, no bids on these, nobody wants these. Like, what's suspect about it? Nobody wants any of this shit. Like, no one wants this. Except for the good one, the sub 1,000 edition. Like, what's suspect about these bids? Like, I'm so confused.
Some of these bids look suspect. And then you also have the buy now section where people are wanting a bunch of money for it.
People are wanting a bunch of money for it. Like, this is what the market has priced it at. This is what people are willing to pay for it. That's why this is what they're priced at. This is a valuable collectible. So this is what people are willing to pay for it on the VV app. The second that people are not willing to pay for that, the price will go down to where it needs to be, where it's supposed to be, where the price that people feel is priced at fairly. What people are willing to pay for the comic because they want it at that price.
As well, here's a special edition one. People want $305 for a book that literally came out a week ago, and now they want $305.
The book did not come out a week ago. The book did not come out a week ago at all. The book came out, the physical, you know when the physical came out. I have no idea when it came out, but it damn sure wasn't a week ago. Like, the physical is the reason that the digital is selling is so valuable. Because in physical form, a lot of the people can't get their hands on this stuff. The first NFTs in the world, the first digital version that you can prove actual ownership with, these you can get your hands on. You can get your hands on these. So
let's look at one of the first NFTs that they had, Marvel Comics number 1. Look at what they did. They had the normal comic, then they made it black and white, just the Marvel Comics was red, then they made the Human Torch just red, then the whole thing was black and white, and that's how they made it rare upon rare and rare. And then you're looking for the super rare. The lowest price is almost $70,000 for the NFT.
And in real life, isn't that like the physical edition of this? The physical edition is like over $1 million, right? If I'm correct, it's over $1 million, and 68,000 is a problem. What about that real life one? Can we talk about that? Why is that value so high? Let me guess, because of scarcity and things like that. Guess what? This is very, very scarce, and it's the exact same comic book, and it's licensed by the company that it's licensed by the same company. So, yeah, like, you gotta explain this one.
With the highest one being around $150,000 for the NFT. That is insane. Why are you spending $150,000 on something that literally came out a few months ago?
Because it didn't come out a few months ago. It didn't come out a few months ago.
For the
came out
NFT.
What, in 1930 something?
That is insane. Why are you spending $150?
See, the problem that you're having here is you're separating the physical and the digital as if there's something different. It's the exact same comic, licensed the exact same way. It's just sold differently. It's sold in preparation for the future. You're making it seem as though this is something new. No, this is selling the way that it's selling because it's a piece of history. It's a piece of history.
$50,000 on something that literally came out a few months ago. And the difference with comics have varying grades. These are all perfect condition.
So the rules are changing when it comes down to comics. There's new things people judge this stuff by. Like, what was the first one on the blockchain? Like, what order did they come out in? Things like that. There are different ways. Yeah, you have a grading system. Guess what? A new grading scale is being created. Like, that's what has to happen. As things progress, things change. Things progress and things change, bro. Like, that's just how it goes.
So they're not rare at all. There's 30,000 of them.
There's only one. There's only one number 1. There's only one number 400. They're very rare. And there's 40,000 of them. There's 40,000 of them, and there's already 3 million people on Veve. probably hitting closer to 4 million. So that's very, very rare. That's very scarce. But I mean, you probably wouldn't know that there's that many people. Like, so real life comic collectors, it's not rare as far as physical goes, because you just don't have that many people who demand this. But Veve is bringing in new people who demand these comics. They are bringing in people by the millions. That's the difference. This is why the prices are where they are, because of the amount of people that's here. There's not the same amount of interest in physical comics. I would have never been interested in a physical comic before. I am because of Veve.
And then the special secret editions, there's 600. Here's that X-Men 170. They have 5 different covers. The last one is the secret one. There's 600 of them. People have them up for $300, $400. This just came out for an NFT. There's only 157 that are 9/8 on the CGC census. And a 9/8 goes for $117. You're telling me that this NFT is worth more than a 9/8?
This is a space that's still not established. And this is an argument that we have within the space, because no one actually knows where the value is going to land at, where it's going to be officially set at. It's still new. So this is one of these situations where I don't think that should be very valuable, but then people are going to argue, oh, this is why it should be valuable. This is why it's worth more. And it is one of the first NFTs. So this is some of the debates that go on in terms of value. This is like grading comic books before the grading scale was actually put into place. So you have to understand the stage that we're at. The system of how we grade is new. It's being created. It's currently being developed right now. But that doesn't make it any, like, that doesn't mean that it's a problem. Like, it just means that it's immature. And the more that it matures, the more these prices are going to change. The more these prices have changed. These prices have changed a lot, and they'll continue to. That's just a part of being of something. That's just part of being a part of something new.
Actual physical copy of the comic book that came out in the 80s? That's what you're telling me? That there's 600 perfect, can't be ruined NFTs of this secret edition. There's 30,000 in total, 600 of them are the special edition, and people want $300 when a 9/8 there's only 157.
And also, how many people in real life want that comic you're referring to? Because, like I said, there's like 3 million people who can see this when Veve releases it. There's 3 million people instantly checking for this when Veve releases it. How many people are looking for that actual comic? How many people are looking for these comics? You need to understand the demand. The demand is actually there. Like, it's a big difference in the demand than it is of physical comics. Veve is already changing collecting.
9/8, so a quarter of the amount that there could be, and it's $100. See how dumb this is? See how this won't make any sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense. You're just very uneducated. Very, very uneducated. And you need to do a little bit more research so you can actually understand these things. Because all these things you're questioning, they all have answers. And a little bit of research and you would have all those answers.
All these people will have to sell out of their copies of these NFTs for $300, $400 to someone thinking that they can turn this into $900 to $1,000. No one's going to buy this thing for $400 and then flip it for $420 because you have fees and things like that. No, they want to double their money at least very quickly, or they wouldn't get it at all. And they really truly are lazy. Here's an Ultimate Fallout 4. Literally the normal cover, second print. Then this is an actual another printing that exists. These are all printings, and then you got the variant.
Because it's the same comics. This is not something that's supposed to be original. You're saying that they're lazy, but this is the real life physical version in digital form, licensed officially from Marvel themselves. With that, you can get authenticated and know who actually owns this, who purchased it, who it actually belongs to. It's not lazy. It's the fact that this is like, there's no separation in what you're trying to separate, except for one's physical and one's digital.
Edition at the very end. They didn't even change anything. They didn't even hire new artists. They just literally took photocopies.
Why would they hire new artists? At the point where you hire new artists, it's not the same comic book that's valuable. What are you talking about? Like, this is the whole point.
And then go, yeah, let's just put a number on it. You get a token. You have number, 620 out of 30,000 or whatever it is. And that's all they do. And then you give them money, $7. So is there money to be made in all this? Yes. Like I said, it's hot potato. So in the short term, you're going to find someone who will be like, yeah, I'll pay you more for that. Like they sell. There's people that buy them for $30, $50 when originally they were $6. And there's going to be more people buying into it. But how far can it go?
You're going to be surprised. It's going to be a rude awakening once you realize what NFTs are, metaverses are, and all of this stuff. Because this is just the beginning.
Because there's really no real collectors or real people that are into this stuff.
There's a lot of real collectors and a lot of real people into this stuff
that actually care. They might say they are, but let's be honest. If you couldn't make any money off this, people wouldn't buy it. So in the short term, yeah, you can probably convince someone to buy this for a little.
Yeah, he has no idea what he's talking about.
A bit more money than you paid, but eventually that train will stop, and then someone will be left with it, and it will burn them. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't understand it, David. You know, I understand it. I get it.
This is what everybody who doesn't understand it and everybody who don't get it, this is what they say. Always. They understand it. They get it. No, you don't. You half-assed your research. You came to a dumbass conclusion, and now you're saying that you get it and you understand it. When you didn't put in the work, you didn't put in the effort, and you didn't put in the time to actually understand it.
And I get that I'm not the one that determines what is collectible and what is not, but you can.
No, that would probably be Marvel, since they determined the first time that your comic books would be collectible. I mean,
it's pretty much smell a scam a mile away, and this is one of those things.
Yeah, ooh, your nose, that super sniffer must be working good for you, because you saw something that the United States government, DC Comics, Marvel, Disney, all of them can't see that it's a scam, but you're the one, and all of their thousands of lawyers can't see that it's a scam, but you're the one sole survivor who sees it, buddy. Like, great job, bro.
This is not gonna, it's just watch the Beanie Baby craze thing and you'll see exactly it's following it point for point. And where are they today? People literally thought the same thing. They thought these were gonna put my kids through college. These were gonna buy me a house. Oh, I'm gonna make all this money. Sure, in the short term, there's people that made probably millions of dollars off Beanie Babies, but someone's gonna get left holding the bag. Just make sure it's not you.
Yeah, I mean, that was very convincing, but yeah. So basically, long story short, my man had no idea what he was talking about the whole time. And yeah, I mean, it was an interesting enough video. Like his opinions and perspective, like the more he spoke, you just could tell that he does not understand anything about what's going on here. So yeah, let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications so you stay updated. And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace out, yo.